Hey everyone, welcome back to Longtail University, and today we're going to be doing lesson 5, which is all about how to analyze your competition. Now, if you've got a few keywords that you're ready to move on to the next step with, this arguably really is the most important step. This is a step where you're actually going to analyze the competition for that keyword, and there's lots of reasons why this is so critical. But essentially, if you want to be ranking in Google, you need to be on that first page. And so it becomes a matter of determining how easy it might be for you to appear on that first page. So a couple of reasons why it is so important and so critical to focus on this particular step in so much depth is that, first of all, most people get it wrong. This is where the train sort of goes off the tracks for a lot of people. They do a good job of finding a keyword that meets that important criteria of search volume and CPC and some of the other metrics that we talked about in the previous lesson, but they pick something that's way too competitive. So it's actually, this particular step is how you tell if a keyword is worth targeting. So before you can dive into doing that in-depth analysis, you need to know who your competition really is going to be. So who is your competition? Well, first of all, it's not actually every single site that's targeting that particular keyword. A lot of people look at just the title competition, which can be a good metric that tells you how many websites out on the internet are actually using that particular keyword on the title of their page. It's not really every similar site in your market even. Your competition is only the top 10 results in Google. 99.9% of the time you don't need to worry about anything else. After all, we know that almost all of the traffic that you're going to get in Google is going to happen if you're ranking on that first page. And so you want to know, can I get on that first page of Google? So that's your competition, cut and dried. It's that top 10 results. Why? Well, because if you can beat them, you can get on the first page of Google and start getting that traffic that you want. So let's jump right into it. Let's talk about how to analyze your competition. And again, this is that first page of Google competition. Okay, so real quick, these things that we're going to talk about apply at both the page level and the SERP level. You can look at the general trends in the SERPs themselves to determine competition, or you can analyze these things to estimate how difficult a specific page might be to beat. And we're going to do both of those here with some examples. So that's great, but when you're looking at the top 10 results in Google, what should you actually be looking for? And that's what we're going to spend the rest of this lesson on, is how to analyze the top 10 sites in Google. So this particular slide here is going to be a very important one. We'll have a cheat sheet for you that you can refer back to very often. But these bullet points that you see are exactly what you need to be looking at. So here's an example of what I like to see in the top 10 results. I like to see sites with lower quality content or doesn't fully answer the search query. And the reason I'm showing you these examples of what I like to see is because that's a sign of weakness, and you should be able to beat that. So if a site has low quality content, you should be able to beat that and do a better job. I like to see a few sites that are not targeting the exact keywords in the title. And again, we'll go over some examples here. I like to see no more than 1 or 2 root domains. And again, that a root domain is just a sign of strength. So the less root domains there are, the better. I like to see at least 2 sites that are under a PA of 30 or a page authority of 30 and have low juice page links. So that have both of those combined, so that are under page authority of 30 at the same time as having low juice page links, under 30 juice page links. I like to see a few low domain authority sites is preferred as well, under 30. A few sites that are less than a year old. If new sites can rank, that probably means that your new article or your new site can rank as well. I like to see 2 or more weaker sites preferred, such as question and answer sites, forums, small niche sites, etc. I also like to see a few sites just like mine, preferably in the top 3 spots. So again, that's whether that's a small niche site that you're building, an e-commerce store that you're building, a general blog, that sort of thing. You like to see those ranking already. And then, of course, keyword competitiveness, which combines a lot of these metrics. I like to see 30 or less. That's definitely preferred. Now, remember that this stuff definitely is flexible. If one metric is exceptionally good, you probably have a bit of an elbow room with some of the other metrics. So let's dive into each of these bullet points in detail. And at the same time, I'm going to walk through a couple of live examples. So first of all, relevance of content. So is the content relevant? Is it answering the questions the searcher is truly asking? Is it solving the problem? Is it doing it in a specific, relevant way? And of course, is the content good? So overall, less relevant content is going to be less competitive. So pay more attention to the top few results here. So if you see the top 3 or 4 results and 1 or 2 of those has irrelevant content, something that doesn't match the search query exactly or doesn't answer the question of the query quite well enough, that's a sign of weakness. So let's start here with our example. Let's pull up Longtail Pro and see what we can do here. So previously we started a campaign, the LTU, the Longtail University campaign. We only searched for a few seed keywords, but I'm sure that we can find something here for example purposes. I favorited just a few of these keywords. So if I sort by favorites, I can see what's pulled up here. So let's go ahead and I want to find a primary keyword, so something that has over 2,000. So we're going to dive into one of these 5 keywords. Let's just do the top one here, best pocket knife. And so if we do that, that pulls up the top 10 results in Google, and we can start seeing what the competition looks like. So for this first step, we're just looking at relevance of content. I want to cover that bullet point. So is the content of these ranking sites relevant? And I'm just expanding some of these columns so you can see the page title. So the title and URL are here within Longtail Pro. I want to know, are they targeting my exact keyword? So are they using best pocket knife in the title of their page? And of course, Longtail Pro bolds that for you. So I can see that the top result definitely is using best pocket knife. So is the second one. The third one is using it, although it's split up. It's still got all the keywords there. Same here, best pocket knife. And notice that knife and knives really are counting for essentially the same thing, and that's very typical. This result here, how to find the perfect pocket knife, is not using the exact keyword. So that is one small sign of weakness there. And then also here, this one that says just folding knives, knife center. It is not using best pocket knife. So a couple of very minor signs of weakness there. So that's a good thing. That's not enough to make a decision, of course, but I do see that there are a couple of instances where it's using folding knives instead of best pocket knife. So that is a sign of weakness. All right, let's go back over here now to our presentation and see what's next. Optimized page title, which is essentially what I just looked at here. Do the page titles contain the keyword? If so, how many of them? Do they contain the exact keyword in the title? Again, if there are a few or even all of the results that don't contain the keyword in the title, the keyword will be less competitive. Now, I should go back to our results here. And really what you want to do, if you want to dive deep, and I usually wouldn't do this deep dive until after I had analyzed all the statistics, but you would come back and let's say I'm feeling very good about this keyword and I felt like I wanted to target it. I would then start looking at, well, is the actual content on some of the pages of these sites relevant and what would I do better? And so at that point, this result that just knifecenter.com doesn't look 100% like it's using Best Pocket Knife. So I would look at the content on the page to see if I could do a better job. And just by looking at it, I can see that, it does a good job of showing different knives, but that's all it does. It doesn't have much content on the page. This is about it. And so you could certainly do a better job of providing in-depth contextual content than this result. So there you go. But we're not quite at that point yet. We still need to look at lots of the other stats before we decide if we're going to target this keyword. So the next thing after the page title that you want to look at is root domain or subpage. So are all the results root domains or are they subpages? And what makes up more of the SERPs? So root domains in general will be more difficult to beat than subpages. And again, the reason for that is typically if it's a root domain, that means it's targeting this particular niche quite strongly and it might have a higher domain authority, which the greatest authority of that domain is going to be on the root domain rather than a subpage. So in general, it's better to see less root domains. So let's take a look at our example and see what we find. So in this particular example, the first result is indeed a root domain, bestpocketknifetoday.com. The second result is not. The third result is not. It's an Amazon page. Fourth is not. Fifth is not. Sixth is not. All of these are not root domains except for the first result, and it looks like the ninth result. PocketknifeLife.com is what it looks like. So there are a couple of root domains, but it's not overwhelmingly dominated by root domains. So generally speaking, I would say that this is that's good. In this particular example, if I saw 5 or 6 root domains, red flags would start to go off and I might think twice about that particular keyword. But only a couple of root domains, and as I'll explain here in a little bit, the root domains that are ranking probably aren't super strong. We'll look at that in depth and find out, but that's a good sign so far. So the next thing that you want to look at is the authority of the page itself. Now, in general, pages with a high page authority will be more difficult to beat. Now, you have to remember that Google ranks pages, not entire sites. So each individual page on a website, so a website might have 100 or 1,000 different pages, each of those pages will have a different page authority. So some might do very well in Google and others might not do very well in Google. So you need to check the page authority of the specific page, and then the SERPs overall, you can check the average page authority. Page authority definitely is closely related to overall SEO power. So let's take a look at our example here of Best Pocket Knives. So there's a nice column here within Longtail Pro that shows the overall page authority. You just read it down the column. And anything under 30 is going to be less competitive, less authoritative. So you can see that we do have a few results under 30. The second result, the fourth result, and a couple others here. So there actually are a few. So I'm not seeing an overwhelming authority. The average overall is actually a 29. So if the average is under 30, that's a good thing. I do just want to point out one thing that you will see sometimes. Right here we have a page authority of 1. Now that actually is provided by Moz.com, and what that means when you see a 1, that means that a page authority has not been assigned yet. So that's not truly accurate. That just means it's either a newer page or Moz, for whatever reason, hasn't assigned a page authority. So in those cases, what I like to do and what I recommend that you do is you look at the domain authority and then you divide that by 2 and assume that that is the page authority. So 48 divided by 2 is 24. So this page, this result has a page authority of probably about 24. So that will adjust the average just a little bit there. So be aware when you see a 1. Don't get super excited. Go ahead and look at the page authority, or the domain authority, excuse me, first to determine what's going on here. So overall, I'm seeing a few results that I like. I see 4 or 5 here that are less than 30 in page authority, and in my book, that means lower competition. Next, we want to look at the page links. How many total links does a page have? And how many juice links does it have? And I'm going to explain the difference there in just a second. But if you're looking at the SERPs, look at the general trend of whether there's lots of links or not very many links. Great keywords will have competition with very few links. The results in the SERPs for my favorite keywords typically have almost no links, or at least almost no juice links. So you've probably heard SEOs talk about how important links are. They are very important, but as you can see, it's just one factor. There's all these other factors we've already looked at and are going to look at, but we certainly do want to look at how many other websites are linking to this content, are linking to this page. So let's pull up our example here and take a look at that. We've got the page links column here, and then the juice page links. So page links is really just any link that's pointing to that page, whether it's no follow, do follow, has authority, doesn't have authority, whereas juice links are ones that actually carry juice, which is a term used by Moz, but essentially just does carry authority and does carry is a do follow type link. So the juice links are really the ones that matter in the grand scheme of things. So I like to see, again, I like to see juice links under 30. So I actually see quite a few results here. The second and third, well, actually the second through the fifth or sixth here result, and then several others. And so I see quite a few results that meet my minimum threshold of having under 30 juice page links. But if you recall, I really want to see at least a couple of results that have low page authority plus low juice page links. So the top result does not meet my criteria. It's too competitive. It has page authority 35, juice links 84. So that doesn't meet my criteria. The second result actually does. It has a page authority under 30 and juice links under 30. This third result does not meet my criteria. Even though it has no juice links, it has a high page authority. And so I don't like to see that. And you can actually see this is an Amazon result. Google loves to rank Amazon, and so that sort of makes sense. This fourth result does meet my criteria, under 30, juice links under 30. This result as well outdoorgearlab.com, page authority under 30, juice links under 30. Same with the Knife Center, and same with the final result, and actually the last two results. So actually, I see, I like to see at least 2 sites. I'm seeing 4 or 5 sites in this particular, in these SERPs that have that criteria of both page authority and juice links being under 30. So that gives you a good idea of what I'm looking at for juice links, but actually there's a little bit more to look at with links, and let's cover that. If you want to do a deep dive into how difficult the site is, you want to look at link relevancy. So you can, besides just looking at the number of links, you can analyze the links that are pointing to the pages. Do they come from relevant sites? Do they come from authoritative sites? Are they contextual and editorial? And you can check this in a few different places, such as Moz Open Site Explorer, Majestic.com, Ahrefs.com, and there's probably a few others out there. But overall, pages with links from highly relevant authoritative sites will be tougher to beat. And so let's go ahead and pull 1 or 2 of these up so we can actually see how you might go about analyzing the links. So let's say that I wanted to look at the actual links that were pointing to one of these results. And I want to look at the knifeup.com page. You can go to any of these tools that you like. I'll go ahead and just pull up Open Site Explorer from Moz. So you can just paste in your URL and hit search there. And you can start to see the different links that are pointing to that. You can actually scroll down here and see some of the top sites that are linking to this page. I can quickly see, are these coming from authoritative sites or not? So their top link definitely coming, page authority of 48. And you can kind of go down here and see how authoritative these links are. So after the first 3 or 4 links, you start to get into much lower page authority, and these are sorted by page authority already, so that you know that this particular site has no more than these 5 sites with a page authority of 20 or above. So it does have, probably 5 or 6 good links out of there with some authority, but overall it only had 12 juice links, so about half of those are solid links. The other half may or not be quite as quality. And of course, you could do a much bigger deep dive if you wanted to. You can click on the link to open up the page to see, okay, is this a well done page? And pulling up this top result, actually pulling up this page, this site has actually looks like it's been suspended, so that link is going to drop off here very soon. If we go over to the next one, you can see that this is certainly a well done content page, that sort of thing. You can see what type of link that it has here, and you can do your own analysis. Is this a great link? How hard would it be to replicate this link? This particular one, probably not that difficult. If I recall correctly, Brave Sites, well, let's check. BraveSites.com is, yes, a website builder. You could build your own website and essentially replicate that exact link just like they did. So not only is looking at links a great way to see how difficult it might be to rank for sites, but after you've built your sites, you can look at and think about, can I replicate these links? And in at least a couple of these cases, yes, you definitely could replicate those on your own. So now that we've looked at links and link relevancy, the next thing that we want to look at is our domain authority. So what is domain authority? This really tells you overall how authoritative a particular domain is. So things like Amazon.com, Twitter.com, Facebook.com, Google.com, all of those things, all of those sites have huge page authority. These are well-known authoritative sites. And so if you're trying to compete with sites that have over, a 50 domain authority, that can be quite difficult. So domain authority isn't quite as critical as page authority, because remember, you're competing against pages, not domains. But you do want to look at the domain authority of competing pages and determine how high it is. And are there at least 5 sites ranking with a sub 30 domain authority? That's how you're going to really pinpoint the low competition. So if you can look for these keywords that have SERPs showing 5 or more sites with domain authority of 30 or less, you're well on your way to finding a low competition keyword. So let's see how many results have a domain authority of 30 or less. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we don't quite meet our criteria of 5, but there is 4 there. So there are weaker sites ranking. It could be better, I suppose. But again, the 5 is the metric that really is an aggressive metric. If you have 5 or more sites that have a domain authority of 30 or less, that's a very, very good sign. In this case, it's not perfect, but we'll take the entire picture as a whole. But it is important to look at domain authority overall. The next metric that you want to look at is site age. How old is the site? Age is definitely a known factor for ranking. The older a site is, it tends to rank better than newer sites. So look for keywords that have lots of young sites if you can. If there's a few results of sites that are half a year old or something like that, that's going to be much easier to rank for than a result that has tons of sites that are 10 or 20 years old. So in our particular example again here, this last column is site age. So I like to see sites again that are around a year or less old. So I do see a few results. The second result is just over a year. The 5th result is just over a year. And then this 9th result is only half a year old. So I see some good signs there. There's some site age, some newer sites that are ranking, which is certainly a good sign, meaning that you, as a new site creator, very well might be able to rank as well for this particular keyword. Now, the next thing that we want to look at here is whether or not the results have weak sites in them. And this really is probably the most important thing to look for when analyzing your competition. It's almost a way of Google telling you, hey, there's weak sites here. If you do a better job than these weak sites, you could rank. And so the things that I like to look at and see in the results are forums, small niche sites, affiliate sites, article directories, or question and answer sites. If those types of sites are ranking, not only do they tend to have low page authority and low juice page links and all those other things, but just the type of site often can be lower quality content and can be easy to beat. Also, are there sites like yours ranking, like I mentioned before? Are there other small niche sites or other e-commerce sites ranking? That's a good thing for you. The best keywords will show that your kind of site can rank for that keyword. So let's take a look here. So we'll just take a look at a few of these results to see what kind of sites they are. You can probably tell by the name of many of them. This is going to be a small niche site, the #1 result, but let's pull it up. So it it looks like they've done a good job of making it look more like an authoritative site here, but it's certainly a content website. It's a review website. I can see that if I click on some of these, I'm sure it's going to take me over to Amazon, which, yes, it does. So it's a small affiliate website. So if you're creating a small affiliate website, you would say, okay, it's good. I know that Google will rank small affiliate websites for this result. So that's a good thing. Let's look at a couple of these others. So the second result here also looks like a content website, probably another affiliate website. Yep, takes me over to Amazon as well. They've got a nice comparison chart, which looks familiar. I taught people how to create this exact comparison chart using this plugin with this chart. So it's probably one of my readers that created this website. And so again, this is an affiliate website, and they've done a good job. It looks like they've expanded into all sorts of knives, and it's not just pocket knives that they're reviewing. And then of course there's Amazon, knifeup.com. Let's see what that is as well. Knife News Magazine is what it claims to be. It's got the nice comparison chart as well. So it's got survival knives. So again, a content-based affiliate website is what this one is as well. So the SERPs are definitely leaning towards these content-based affiliate websites. I'm sure this one as well down here is a small affiliate website, pocketknifelife.com. It's got a buyer's guide, shows so again, content, view the price, where do I go? Amazon. So we've got lots of Amazon affiliate websites. So what that tells me is certainly that if I'm creating an Amazon affiliate website, I have a shot in these SERPs. That's what everybody else is doing to rank. Do I see weak types of sites? Well, I do see lots of small affiliate sites, so that's a good thing, but I don't see any type of article directories, question and answer sites, forums. So it could be better, but the sign is good because I am seeing those small affiliate websites. And again, if that's what you're trying to create, there is that sign that you have a shot because you're going to be doing essentially what they're doing. If you can do a little bit better job, then that's going to make a stronger case for your website as well. So overall, again, I want to show this slide for how to analyze the top 10 sites in Google. I want to, with this live example, I've walked through each of these bullet points, but let's review this and let's make a final decision to see if it's something that would be worth targeting. So, is the content relevant? Is it targeting the keywords in the title? The SERPs actually do a pretty good job of targeting the exact keyword. I do see a couple of results, but generally speaking, all of them are using best pocket knife. So there's not a strong case for weakness here. I would say there's a little bit, but not a strong case. Is the content relevant? Yes. They all do a pretty good job of reviewing what the best pocket knives are. And so in that sense, the results are strong. They're targeted and the content is relevant. However, there's more to it than that. What do the root domains look like? We saw that there's several results that are not root domains, so that's a good sign. We also saw that there's at least 2 sites that have under a page authority of 30 and juice page links under 30. And so that makes a fairly strong case that there is weakness there. We saw lots, 4 or 5 results there that met that criteria. The next thing we looked at is domain authority. Was there a few low sites under 30? And yes, there definitely is in this case. There's 4 to 5 results, so not super strong domains. We also looked at site age to confirm that. We see a few results of about a year or less, so that's a good sign as well. And then we like to see at least 2 weaker types of sites ranking. We saw at least 3 or so, maybe more, of just smaller affiliate sites. Now, the types of sites could have been even weaker. As I mentioned, could have been Q&A sites or forum sites, but these are weaker types of sites still. They're just smaller affiliate sites. They're not created by some huge corporation. They're not created by somebody with tons of authority behind them, lower domain authority, that sort of thing. So these are indeed, at least a few of these are indeed lower types of sites, meaning that as an individual site builder, you could probably create something just as good as what is there as well. And again, preferably in the top few sites, you like to see sites that might be just like yours. So the number 1 result is a small affiliate site. So if that's what you're creating, that's a good sign for you. And then overall, to kind of wrap up all of the stats into one, is the keyword competitiveness, which you've seen here, I'm sure. But overall keyword competitiveness here of 26, it looks like. That meets the criteria of being under 30. If you recall our cheat sheet for what keyword competitiveness that you want to be looking for, we want to see results that are under 30. And so 26 is very good. Almost all the signs are pointing to this as potentially a great keyword that you can target. Overall, I would call this a low competition keyword. This is something that if you wanted to write a pillar article on best pocket knife, you would have a good shot of ranking for this particular keyword. Now, of course, there's a lot that you would need to do. You would have to write great content. You would need to try and do a better job than the SERPs are doing. You would need to build links to your page, but in this case, not a ton. And it would take a little bit of time. But this is not a crazy keyword to try and rank for. This is a low competition keyword, generally speaking. It meets the criteria that we walk through step by step as a good keyword. And so I would have no problem recommending this particular keyword as a good primary keyword or pillar article. So there you have it. We picked at least one good keyword, and we're going to also go through a couple of more throughout the series of the course, but here's one that we walk through very much in depth. So again, here's all the criteria that we looked at. I think it's very important that you utilize this information, and this will help you pick lower competition keywords. There's other ways outside of Longtail Pro to analyze the competition. You don't have to use it. It makes it very easy, but there are tools like SEO for Firefox. It's a Mozilla Firefox plugin. There's the SEO Quake add-on. And those couple of tools don't give you everything that I just showed you, but they do give you things like site age, the number of links pointing to the page, and they help bold the titles and a couple of other things to help you understand how authoritative the pages of the SERPs are. There's the Majestic Backlink Analyzer, which again is a Mozilla Firefox add-on that you can use. There's also Chrome extensions as well, so you can do some searching if you want to use Chrome extension. So these few are free tools. They don't give you everything in Longtail Pro, especially not the KC calculation, but they can help you get started. And then finally, I will mention that there is the Moz keyword difficulty metric, which can be great as well, but that costs $99 per month, so it's a little bit more expensive because you have to buy the entire suite of tools that Moz offers in order to get the Moz keyword difficulty. So there you have it overall, how to analyze the competition. We walked that through in depth. I'm also going to share a couple of other examples of both good and bad examples in an additional video. So you can look at that for some extra practice and to kind of get into the flow of how I analyze the competition just a little bit better. But I want to do that in a separate video just so this one doesn't run any longer. So thanks a lot and stay tuned for future lessons.